As I signed off my last video a few minutes ago, I saw Mel Gibson's face appear on my screen, and it reminded me of something I saw of him yesterday. And as I do respect that man for sure, that it really links in to this and what I'm saying. You know, if you had known what the scripture means, I desire mercy, not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the innocent. And with the developments today, last night, it's the 2nd to the 7th, 20 or 26, with Trump calling out Americans out of Iran and closing the embassy, you know, it does all feel pretty ominous. And what Mel said, so even though it's really hard to hear, you could probably find it other places, but what he talked about was this takedown and this ash cloud going over the sky, over the whole northern hemisphere, and all the elites. Well, what's happening now is like they're burning, is it Patagonia oh, you know, where Hitle man went to. They're burning all that off, and they have actually arrested JEWISH tourists, you know, because he says that they're going around with backpacks marking out areas, so they're getting ready to take over, so they're burning out all these places which are going to survive. The places, Argentina is what I'm thinking of, and of course anywhere that's close to Antarctica, so that's why New Zealand is one of the lucky ones, but unfortunately it means we get certain rats down here. But this all makes such horrible perfect sense. So that's why I've been prepping for so many years, and also trying to do this, and why I couldn't understand why these people with these great big, you know, YouTube channels, you know, go on these cruises and all the rest of it. And, you know, because to me it's like, if you really believe this, you know, why are you keeping these people distracted? You know, they should be so focused, because as I've shown you over and over again, and as my baptismal prophecy said, you know, this is the first time I ever heard God speak. He spoke out loud 3 times. He said, read the book of Joel, read the book of Joel. And when I got it, the book, because I'd never even heard of it, I was just a baby Christian, but I just had a little Bible on my bedside cabinet, and I just opened it up straight to the 3 pages that make up the book of Joel, and in there it talks about this terrible time, you know, of the locusts and the land being destroyed, but at the end it just gives this caveat, which is, even now, if you would return to me with all your hearts, and weeping and fasting and mourning. But all these people have kept the Christians just glued to the screen, and, you know, their hearts have not really turned, because they've never really believed that it really could happen. But so this is God's judgment, you know, and he's just tried to get you to that place, you know, where it's so close. But, you know, depending on which way it goes, if it goes this way, so what Mel is saying here, so please try and hear him, or else seek it out somewhere else, a better version, because this is just on the old EX, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me, because another dream that I had a year, I don't know, 6 months, a year or something ago, was of a dying young Roth child, who was asking me to pick out, so showing me a map of the South Island, and he's asking me to pick out the next area, you know, for them to buy. Okay, and so the significance of that, of course, and so I picked out the next area. So it's it's a place in New Zealand called the Eastern Lakes or something. So it's the next segment of the South Island up from Queenstown and those areas, where the CI have huge strongholds, and I believe TUNNELSs, as I've shown you in videos of the art gallery down there that I filmed at midnight with John Podesta's bits, naked horrible bits on show, and while he's wearing a Capes Crusaders coat, and and there's all this PEDO stuff, and all the other stuff down there. So it's on. There's actually like nearly 10,000 views on that video, and it was so weird. Just all the views just came, just went crazy, and then bang, flatlined, totally flatlined. So how does that happen unless it's doctored? So you can go and look that up. It's called Queenstown's Stark White Gallery. Okay, I'll put the link in if I remember. So here we go. And that was the significance of my dream was, even though the young man in the bed was dying, which relates to the Roth Childs, it didn't matter. They were still going ahead of their plans, and the place that I picked out was exactly the place where they had next planned.
This is the real plan that's been running since the 1850s, and it's barreling toward World War III. Back then they targeted two prizes, Palestine and Argentina. Palestine for control of the Middle East, Argentina, especially Patagonia, for a final refuge when the world burns. They took Palestine. Now comes the Isaac Accords, Argentina's quiet surrender, turning it into an Israeli colony in all but name. Right now they're burning Argentina down, wildfires everywhere, and buying the scorched land cheap. The tool, their fake NGO, that's Backpackers Without Borders. So-called backpackers, like with maps and cameras, supposedly mapping trails. In reality, they're intelligence operatives marking targets, befriending locals while they plan which part of the Patagonia to burn next. Why? Because the deal is simple. Nearly told Netanyahu, "Mi casa es su casa." If Nuremberg-style trials ever come for Israel, they've got their escape hatch here, just like the Nazis had in the 1940s.
I'll repeat that because my husband...
Why? Because the deal is sealed. Milei told Netanyahu, "Mi casa es su casa." If Nuremberg-style trials ever come for Israel, they've got their escape hatch here, just like the Nazis had in the 1940s. And the endgame? Nuclear World War III. Fallout winds blow east-west across the northern hemisphere, Europe, America, Asia. Devastated. Patagonia sits at the bottom of the planet, next to Antarctica. You do the math. They've got more in common with the Nazis than anyone wants to believe. The perfect arc for the new empire, while the North chokes on ash. So, this is it. Spread the word before the fires reach you and the bombs fall.
So, and to think I used to host IDF, it's Israeli Defence Force guys, on their sabbatical. One of them said to me, though, that because this place is so special, if there was one place to survive the HOLOCAUST, he says this is exactly what it would look like. I wish I had said, can I have that in writing, please? Not looking good, guys.